Hello, our topic is 53 vibration. 53 is a prime number. Prime numbers are the foundation of vibrational astrology. If we know the meanings of all the prime numbers, we can figure out the meanings of the other ones fairly quickly. For example, what is the meaning of 35 vibration? It's a mixture of 5 and 7 because 35 equals 5 times 7. Exactly how 5 and 7 mix together, we don't know. We do the extreme case sampling research. We see what's going on. We apply it to clients. We get a clear idea of what it means. But we know, well, we don't know. We are very confident that the meaning of 35 is a combination of 5 and 7. Maybe there's some other things that influence the meaning, but that almost certainly is a fundamental key to understanding the meaning of vibrations. So we need to understand the prime numbers. We're up to 53. Recently I made videos on 47. Now we're up to 53. What does it mean? And just as with 47 vibe, I'm picking up on the brilliant research done by Kenneth Assemi in, I think it was 2021 or 2022, that he did the research on 53 vibration. And so this is a second phase of that research. I am staying in touch with Kenneth, corresponding with him as we work through the meanings of this in this second level of the research. Excuse me. So what did Kenneth conclude from his research? I think it was presented at the Vibrational Astrology Conference in 2021 or 2022. We can look it up. But anyway, it was, he was doing this research in recent years, and he gave a lecture called Meanings of Vibrations 47, 53, and 59. And in that lecture, here's Kenneth's conclusion. 53 vibration means, quote, sensing the possibilities and deciding among them using analysis and intuition to reach optimal outcomes. Okay, so using analysis and intuition to explore different possibilities and trying to make a decision to reach optimal outcomes. So questions like, how am I going to make the future through my present decisions? Decision making that affects the future. What are my options? And which ones do I choose? How do I navigate through the path of life? Making decisions that lead to new patterns in the person's life is a key concept of 53 vibration. And exploring the different options. Dealing with the unknown future. Involvement with theater and novels are likely. So these are all conclusions that Kenneth came up with. Now, to understand what's going on with 53 vibration, we also have some theory. And what we've observed with 53 vibration is confirmed by the theory. And it appears that the theory helps us understand more clearly what's going on with 53. And one of the basic theories we have is you do what we call a modulus function. Modulus just means you divide a number into a number and see what the remainder is. If you divide 30 into 53, you get 1. The remainder is 23. Excuse me. What happens is you can do a modulus 30 on a number to find out a fundamental quality of that number. So 53 has something in common with 23. Why modulus 30? Because prime numbers are arranged in modulus 30. I described this in other videos. You can also subtract 6. So if you go down to 24, you get modulus 5. Therefore, the primes that are related to 53 are 23 and 5, especially 23, because that's the larger, using the larger and most powerful modulus function of 30, we get 23. 23 and 5 have something in common. Because if you do the modulus on 23 and you keep subtracting 6s, you get to 18. 18 divided by 23 is 1 with a remainder of 5. You don't need to remember all that. What is most important is that if a number is greater than 30, you can do modulus 30 on it. That's the key thing. So 53 has some things in common with 23. So here's the difference. 53 is a social or collective level of 23. 23 is more personal, immediate, it's you. And this is what we're seeing with the vibrations. Once you get above about 32, they start becoming more collective. We saw this with 47. What is the modulus of 47? Divide 30 into it, you get 1, remainder 17. 47 has a lot in common with 17. It's a more group-oriented, collective level of it. Same thing with 53. So 23 is seeing our personal options and possible choices and options. 23 is similar to seeing life as probability waves. You have all these probabilities. Someone will say, oh, should I go to college? Should I take this job? Should I move? All these probabilities are like bouncing around out there. And then you decide which path to take, and it becomes concrete. That probability, that vague thing, becomes concrete, it becomes specific, it becomes finely articulated, you could say. So we decide which path to take and make into your life. 53 is similar to 23, but operates in a larger social context. It sees our options within the complex environment. That's the difference between 23 and 53. As we go through this additional research and think about what's going on, it's exactly what Kenneth said, and I'm just framing it in terms of 23 and 53. So 23 is what do I do? 53 is what do I do given the complex circumstances that I'm in? So in bold here, at the bottom of the slide, is my conclusion from analyzing the new data. So I'm going to give you the conclusion up front so you're not wondering, and then you'll see how the observations of the people with very strong 53 vibe are consistent with this interpretation. So here's what 53 vibe does. It provides information, leadership, guidance or direction for the group to move forward and for the group to make decisions. So 53 is about not so much what do I do, but what does the group that I am part of doing, which has a big effect on me and you. So if the country that you live in goes to war, that's going to have a huge effect on you. If the country that you live in decides to raise taxes, implement social programs, or not implement them, obviously what the collective does affects all of us. And 53 is involved in making those decisions. How do we make decisions for us as a group? And how do we guide the group, make the decision and implement the decision, and guide the decision, guide the group process? So what are example behaviors of 53 vibration? Writing about choices within a social context. This is what Kenneth saw. Novels, plays, movies, the stories of people in their environment making decisions that are influenced by the social context, influenced by the political philosophy, by the social standards, by the habits that people have. So writing about choices within a social context, that's one thing that happens with 53. Another is politics, because that's what politics is. You're directing groups of people, you're deciding on social issues. That's very strong 53 vibration. Another possibility is a team leader or guide. Here's the decision, here's where we're going. Let's stay on track and let's move forward. So the coach, the leader, the guide, and also information services. So sometimes 53 is more involved in getting the information to make the decision, and sometimes 53 is more involved in executing the decision. And by looking at the planets involved, we can get a better idea. Is this a situation where the 53 vibe is getting the information to make the decision? Or has the person got an idea of what needs to be done and is guiding the process? 53 is always about the path that the group takes. What is our path? It's choosing the path and it's walking the path for the family, for the club, for the committee, for the organization, for the village, for the country. At various levels of group activity, 53 is saying, what are our options? 23 is more about what are my options? What's in front of me? What do I do? Now, 23 is going to consider some of the social situations. It's not like it's completely blind to it, but it's the emphasis is on where am I going? When you ask where am I going, that's affected by your context. So 23 does take into account the context as well. Very much it does. But it's primarily about what do I do? 53 is about what do we do. So these modulus functions help us see exactly what's going on with the vibration. And it fits with our observations. It helps make it clear. So the theory and the observations, they're helping each other. You always have to be skeptical of a theory. A theory can be wrong. It's almost always incomplete. You don't want to think you can rely only on that. But this rule about modulus 30 has been very helpful through all of our research. Now, here's a second thing that affects the meaning of prime numbers. This is another theory that we have, and it seems to work very well. It's how close is the prime number to other prime numbers. This is also something Kenneth observed. The sequence of prime numbers, which prime number becomes before it and which one comes after it. The prime numbers appear to be a chain where one prime number takes the previous one and sends it to the next one. This is something that Kenneth came up with and saw very clearly. I mean, other people in this kind of astrology have come up with the same idea, but he saw it very clearly in his research. So up at the top of this slide, we have a list of prime numbers up to 61, just to go a little bit past the 53, which is our interest now. So there they are, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59, 61. Okay, so there they are. They look kind of random. However, what you'll notice is that these prime numbers are always separated by 2, 4, or 6, with the exception of the first two, 2 and then 3. 2 is the only even-numbered prime. But once you get going and you're up with 3, we can just say that the prime numbers, these low prime numbers, are separated by 2, 4, and 6. Now, as the prime numbers get higher, they spread out more. So among the first vibrations, let's start at 3, you see they're all twins and cousins. From 3 to 5 is a twin. 5 to 7 is a twin. In other words, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7. Then you have a cousin. Cousin primes are separated by 4. These are standard terms in mathematics. I did not make up these terms, twin, cousin, and sexy primes. Those are standard terms in mathematics. So we have a lot of twins and cousins. By the time you get up to 19, there are only twins and cousins. That makes sense because the lower prime numbers tend to be close together. The first time you find a number that does not have a twin, Let's look at it. 3 has a twin with 5. 5 has 2 twins. It's a twin with 3 and 7. 7 is a twin with 5. 11 is a twin with 13. And similar, in reverse, 13 is a twin of 11. 17 is a twin with 19. When you get to 23, it has no twin. 23 is the first number that does not have a twin. And twin primes, they have a close relationship. They're close together. One evolves into the next. 23, among the first primes, is a bit of a loner. It doesn't have a partner. It's like somebody at a dance who has nobody to dance with. Doesn't have a twin. Or you can think of twin as like a partner. Doesn't have a partner. And 23 is dealing with this situation of here I am. What are all these probabilities and what decision do I make? So it's you might say in an independent field or independent space. Now, if you go up higher, which is the first, what other prime numbers have no twin? Well, I show it on the next slide. I circle it. So on the next slide, we circle the primes that do not have a twin. Let's look at it. Okay, so I circled it. So there's 23, the first one that does not have a twin. Next one is 37, no twin. It's a sexy prime with 31, and it's a cousin prime with 41. Remember, cousin just means separated by 4, sexy means separated by 6. 47 is a cousin with 43, and it's a sexy prime with 53. 53 is the first number that does not have a twin or a cousin. So you can think of it like this. 23 is the first prime that does not have a twin. Remember, as the primes go up, they get more spread out. So more and more prime numbers will not have a twin after you reach 23. And the first one that does not have a twin or a cousin has only 2 sexy prime combinations, is 53. Because you go from 47 to 53, 47 plus 6 is 53, 53 plus 6 is 59. So it's interesting coincidence that 23 and 53, which are also related to each other using the modulus 30, because 30 divided into 53 has a remainder of 23, they're also related in that they are the first primes that are more independent than the previous ones. 23 is more independent than the previous primes, doesn't have any twins. Again, as you go up to higher primes, they tend to spread out. It's not unusual as you get to higher and higher primes. When you get really high primes, most of them don't have a twin. So 53 is the first prime that does not have a twin or a cousin. Both of these vibrations, 23 and 53, they're similar, and we can hypothesize that 2 reasons for their similarity. One is the modulus 30 makes 53 a 23, and that they are both more independent. And that what happens with this independence is not that they're wild and free and disconnected, but simply that because they're not bonded as much, let's put it this way, they haven't already made a decision. They're not already connected to something. They're not in a clear chain with strong links. It's like a chain with some space. So it's got space around it. That's the way I should explain it. And that's literally true. Better than independence is to say they have more space around them. They're more isolated. They're less connected. So they're making decisions about where to go because they can make a decision. They're unattached, relatively unattached. So they're not already as engaged. So 23 and 53 have to do with decision making. 23 is my decisions, the individual decision or your decisions. What can I do? Where can I go? What opportunities do I have? All of these probabilities just bouncing around out there. Which one do I want to see, focus on, and make real? 53 is what decision do I want to make? Which of these probability waves do I want to, instead of have fluttering around, do I want to take a picture of it, hold it, and bring it to life? And 53 is doing that for the group. Group can mean family, team, and so on, organization, country, and so on. Okay, so that's our theory of what 53 means. Now, let's look at the findings that Kenneth made, and then we will look at the findings that I made. You know, I think I'm going to break here. This is a perfect place to break because I've gone over the meaning of 53 in detail, what it means. Usually I go about a half hour. We're going to be at about 22 minutes. Let's just break here at about 22 minutes to pick up, you know, with a whole new focus of what we're going to discuss, which is what Kenneth found in his research. Then I'll do the results of my research, following up, continuing another phase of this research. Okay, let's stop here, and I'll see you in the second video in this series on 53 vibration. Thank you very much. God bless. Namaste.